Hello, everybody. My name's Casey Salgi. Appreciate you jumping on and hearing about God Super PAC. So let's jump right on into it so I can go over the information with you. So, with any organization, one of the first questions everybody wants to know is who's steering the ship? Where did this thing come from? So, we've got Mr. Robert Widener here. He founded God Super PAC in 2023 as the treasurer and founder of this organization. Mr. Widener has had a crazy, great career and has had a huge amount of growth experience in all the endeavors that he has taken on. So this is no different with what he's bringing to the table for God Super PAC. He officially registered this with the Federal Elections Commission, the FEC, in August of 2024, so that it is a registered super PAC that is with the FEC. Now, what is he here to do? Why did he start this? His mission, the spiritual mission that he had as an awakening, was to unite and mobilize 210 million Christians to restore faith-driven values in American governance through an innovative donor referral engagement platform. We'll talk about that in a little bit about what that's for, but let me frame this up for just what typically happens and what we talk about with our friends and family, church members, folks we run into at the gym. You're having conversations all the time, and typically there's going to be something that's brought up about what's going on in our society, what's going on with our culture, and how there's some things that could be addressed and need to be addressed because it's just not getting done. And this is where we can unite, we can mobilize and actually make a difference. And in the areas to make a difference, anything that we're going to make a difference in typically is going to require time and money. And some people don't have, maybe they've got a ton of time and not a lot of money, or maybe they've got not much time and a little bit of money. Hopefully they've got both time and money. But these organizations that are out there that can absolutely make a difference and an impact, they're going to require money. And so what we're doing is we're putting together to hit these different missions. We're going to build a donor referral network, and that's what God Super PAC is. And what we're going to do with that is raise funds. And when we raise these funds, we're going to support these different missions. I think everybody can get behind these items here. You see the picture of the veteran there. I don't think anybody thinks that our veterans are getting all the support that they need. I know when disaster relief happens, it's sometimes very abysmal to see the reaction of the federal government and state governments and getting out and taking care of what needs to be taken care of. We can do that a whole lot faster with these different organizations. I don't think anybody thinks that the sex trafficking has been eliminated and fixed. God knows fentanyl is still flooding into our country. There's just a ton of different things out there that could really use our efforts. And when we don't have all the time in the world, I'm busy. I've got a career. I've got 4 kids. Some in college, some still in school. It's crazy all the time that is spent, commuting, working, and grocery store, and making dinner, and sports, and all the stuff that comes in. It's like, when am I going to have any time to just breathe, much less take something else on my plate? But what I can do is I can donate to these organizations. I can donate to God Super PAC, and they can bring in that money, and then we can do that as a combined effort and really make a big difference. And I'll show you what that looks like here shortly. I think everybody can take a look at this list here and say, yeah, I can get behind the fact that these things need to be fixed. Those are our missions. So how do we go about doing that, creating that donor referral network? Well, it's going to be done by warriors. And these warriors are going to be folks that are going to join the fight. They're going to make a donation of $9.95 a month. Yeah, I didn't say we needed hundreds and thousands of dollars from you. We need $9.95 a month, less than a Netflix subscription, to be able to actually go and start making an impact into those missions that we saw. And what do warriors do? They're going to recruit other fellow Christians. They're going to spread the good news, and they're going to share this organization with those folks and get them to take a look at what we're doing. That's it. That's the fight. That's what we do as warriors to be able to do that. And, some people are going to say, well, I really don't even want to do that. I don't like talking to other people. I'm very, I don't have a ton of friends. I'm pretty closed in, but I really like what you're doing here. I want to donate. Hey, no problem. We love you guys. We appreciate the donations, and we have it set up that we can accept those donations. We can do them in multiple denominations. We can do the $9.95 where people don't want to be a warrior, but they still want to donate that. They can donate more. Any multiples that you see on here, they can do it as a one-time, or we would really encourage them to do it on a subscription basis where they keep making that donation as we go through and continue to work on these different missions. Those donations are extremely powerful in what we're here to do. So for the folks that want to be a warrior, they got to make a decision to get started as a warrior. And that typically comes with two questions. And the first one is, what's in it for me? What do I get for being a warrior and take this new effort on when I have so many things that you just talked about that I got to do on a daily basis? What's in it for me? And then can I do it? Is another question that everybody's going to have before they make any big decision. And this one is no different. And so let me share with you, what it is that we do so that you can first determine if you can do it, because this is all we do. We do two simple things. We gather a handful of loyal donors, people we know, love, and trust. And then number two is we help other warriors do the same thing. And by doing that, we start with just a couple of people, and those people talk to a couple of people, and they talk to a couple of people. And the next thing you know, you have a massive donor referral network that's going to be able to go and work on those missions. And that's a very big deal. Now, what's in it for you on being a warrior? Well, let me start off with one here, and that's additional income. Imagine getting paid from a organization like God Super PAC, a reward that they're going to give you simply for going out and attracting other folks out of your networks, out of the people that you already know, love, and trust, not going and accosting old ladies at Walmart, and trying to get them to give you money towards this, but talking to just a couple people that you know. And then imagine that income coming in. What would additional income be for you? Do you have enough money flowing into your bank account every month, or is there more month at the end of the month? Too many things that your money's going towards and not enough money coming in. Maybe you want to be able to, I don't know, maybe there's got some big purchases coming up, maybe some simple things. Maybe you just like to be able to take your family out for a meal once in a while and not have to be the one to cook all the time. Maybe it would be great to have additional income to go on a vacation. How long has it been since you've been able to take the family on a vacation? There's only so many summers that you get with these kids as they're growing up. Again, I've got 4 and it goes by so fast. And then they're going to school now too, right? So wouldn't it be great to be able to, if they choose to go to college, to be able to help support them going into that college? Maybe it'd be great that they could go to the college that they want to, not the one that you can afford, if you could even afford it. Maybe it's time for a new house. Maybe you're on top of each other because your family's grown and you're in the same house, or maybe you've been in an apartment and you want to get your first house. There's so many different things that money gives. It gives options. That's really the biggest thing that it does, is it gives options. And it is a megaphone. When you have additional income and you're a good person and you're wanting to do good works, it's amazing how that money can be a microphone for that. And that's what we're here to do, is offer that as one of the rewards that God Super PAC has. So let's talk about that from a monetary perspective. There are two types of rewards that God Super PAC offers its warriors. One is a referral reward, and then the other one is an infinity reward. And anytime you put infinity and reward, those two words together, it's a really good thing. And there's 2 levels to that. And so basically there's a residual component that comes in on this. And then there's an extra bonus that comes in if you can personally bring 6 other warriors to the table, or 12 other warriors to the table. It unlocks some extra things. So I'm going to give a couple examples. I'm a very visual person. That's how I best learn. And so I'm going to walk you through a simple example about how this actually turns into some dollars. Now, these are examples I'm given. There's no guarantee that you participating in this is going to make this happen. But the math of it is 100% accurate, and it shows what could happen by jumping into something like this. So let's jump into a couple of examples. There's 3. So the first one is, let's start off simple. Let's say that you get started as a warrior. You do your $9.95 a month. And then with that, you're going to be able to recruit other warriors. You have a couple discussions with your friends, like we were talking about before, and just in conversation, it's brought up one of these issues, or you bring it up, say, "Man, what do you think about this lately?" And it'd be so great that we could do that. And it's like, yeah, somebody should do that, but I just don't have time to do it. It's like, well, what if there was another way that you could support, those missions? And they're like, well, what do you got? So you go through that conversation. They take a look at this presentation, get their questions answered, and they decide to join. And you do that 3 times. 3 times. You bring in 3 warriors. People say, well, Casey, I don't know that many people. Statistically speaking, by the time you're 18 years old, you already know 2,000 people. I want you to find 3 of those people. Let's call their names Al, Bob, and Chuck. Those are the 3 that you bring to the table. Now, that's on your first level there. That's who you brought into your donor referral network. Now, the cool thing is we help other warriors do the same thing. So we're going to talk to Bob. We're going to talk to Al. We're going to talk to Chuck. They have a list of 2,000 people that they've known since 18. We want them to find 3 out of that entire network of people that they already know that wants to donate $9.95 a month. This isn't going out here and getting crazy. This is talking to 3 people. And when you talk to Al and Al talks to their people, Al brings in 3, Bob brings in 3, Chuck brings in 3. That's 9 people. So that's where that second level comes in. So this whole organization that's being built, this donor referral network, is simply everybody doing 3. No one's going out and getting 6,000 people personally. They're getting 3 people. Now, the power of compounding kicks in when you see that. And if this happened, multiple generations worth, we get down to those 8 levels, you'd see you'd have a total of almost 10,000 people in your donor referral network. You brought in 3. Now, we're going to bring in $9.95 a month. I took the liberty to round up to $10 to make the math easy. What math, Casey? Well, that 5% that we were talking about for people that come into your organization, this is that first reward that we're going to get paid out on. That's this residual monthly reward that we would get. Imagine an additional $4,920 being paid out to you, not because you brought 10,000 people in directly. You brought in Al, Bob, and Chuck, and what'd you do? You helped Al, Bob, and Chuck do the same thing. And then they helped their 3 people do the same thing. And they helped their 3 people do the same thing. And the next thing you know, a couple drops get together and they make an ocean and they make an impact. Look at that. An extra, what do you got going on that's going to make an extra $4,920 coming into your bank account? Like, some people are happy to get that as a raise for the year. Imagine getting that as a raise per month. In fact, it's busy right now. You got a lot going on. Maybe you're out, getting things for the holidays or getting ready to go on a trip or all kinds of different things. But, next month, I want you to go into your boss's office on Monday morning. It's best that you do this. Do it bright and early. Wear boots that day. And I want you to go to their office. I don't want you to knock. I want you to go right past the secretary, open up the door. They're probably on the phone. You come in while they're on the phone. You sit down in the chair across from them. And then this is best. Go ahead and put your boots up on the table. Cross them. That's important. They like it when you do that. It really shows that you're serious. And when they get off the phone and they go, what's going on here? You say, hey, boss, here's the deal. I'd like an additional $5,000 a month raise, not per year, but per month. So that's about 60 grand that I'd like added to my bank statement at the end of the year coming from you. And they're like, well, what are you going to do for that? Well, here's the deal. I'm going to talk to 3 people and tell them how awesome this organization is. And so I'd like for you to then go ahead and send me that 5 grand if you don't mind. I want you to report back and let me know how it goes. No one's got anything going on right now that's going to kick off an additional $5,000 a month. But in this example, that's exactly what it does. Now, let me show you the most important. I want to draw your attention to the most important number on the screen. And that's that one right there. That's an additional $98,000 that's being brought into this organization going towards those missions. Imagine, that gives me goosebumps as I'm talking about. Imagine 100 grand as a result of what you got started. That's the power of compounding. People underestimate what they can do in a day or in a year and overestimate what they can do in a day. Switch this around. Think about, it's like, oh gosh, how am I going to find 3 people? Who cares? What if it took you a week to find 3 people? What if it took you a month to find 3 people? What if it took them a month to find 3 people? That means in 8 months, if everybody took a full month, in 8 months, you can have an organization that was responsible for bringing in an extra 100 grand towards these missions. Imagine the impact that can make by you making a decision to get started with us and to have those 3 discussions. And on top of that, getting rewarded almost 5 grand a month. That's pretty powerful, right? So let's go into a couple other examples. So the second example is you're going to get crazy. You're going to double your efforts. That's it. You're not getting just three people. You're going to get six people that are going to be taking a look at this and become a warrior. So you have Al, Bob, and Chuck go out and get Dave, Ed, and Frank. So you get six people. Now, in this example, everybody still did the same thing. They just got their Al, Bob, and Chuck. They only got three. So Al got three, Bob got three, Chuck got three, and then Dave got three, Ed got three, Frank got three. So that's six people. They got three. That's 18 people on that second level, and then so on and so forth. So you see how that goes. Now, the key thing about six is you'll notice that there's an additional column that shows up in here. What's that? Well, that's an additional stream of income that you have coming into your bank account. So not only did you double the size of your organization because you started with twice as many, everybody else did the same, but that's twice as many people that you've brought to the table. In addition to that, you're getting paid out a double amount there. So that's 4 times what we were showing in the previous screen. So add that all up, folks. The math of that is 20 grand a month. A month. 20 grand extra a year would be insane, but what's an extra 20 grand a month going to do? Now, here's what's really cool about this on this extra column, that infinity bonus number one, is that it doesn't stop at 8 levels. The residual is 8 levels. If you read the slide before, it was 8 levels worth of that, but the infinity bonus keeps on going. That's why infinity is such a good word. So those 13,122 people down there on level 8, Al, Bob, Chuck, Dave, Ed, and Frank, they got three, and they got three, and they got three. Well, those 13,000 people down there, do they know three people? They sure do. So there's a 9th level, there's a 10th level, there's an 11th level. And if you look at all of that, you'll notice that the residual stops. It doesn't keep going, but that infinity bonus sure did. Imagine an additional $275,000 a year coming into your bank account. Yeah, I said that wrong because it's per month. Can you imagine? Can you get your head wrapped around that? Now, that's a lot of money, but again, biggest, most important number on this slide is that one right there, $5.3 million as a result of you getting something started. And then what if this took 11 months to happen? What if everybody took a month to get three? You took a month to get six because you're an overachiever. Everybody else just got three. That is crazy, crazy life-changing money that you can have while changing lives. Not just selling some silly product or something. We're not doing that here. We're raising money for being able to make an impact in the people's lives. That is huge. So that's the second example. Now I want to show you what can really happen with the number of people. And I'm going to give you an example of somebody that did this back about 2,000 years ago. And he started off with 13 people. One of those did not work out so well, but then he took those 12 and they took off and they spread the word and they told a couple people and those people told a couple people. And next thing you know, we got 210 million people just in the United States alone following that little network that he got started. What if you went out and you got 12 people and told them about this? And then they did a fourth of what you did. They just get those three that we keep talking about. So those 12 talk to three, there's 36, so on and so forth. You'll see that infinity bonus number one, but guess what? There's a second infinity bonus when you hit 12. And that's what unlocks that. So that's 3 different streams of income that's coming in. You add that all up, that's $59,000 a month, just in this example, just on 8 levels. But guess what? Those 26,000 people, it's just everybody getting three. They know 3 people. There's a 9th level, there's a 10th. And as I've been doing, I'm just going down 11 levels. That's $1 million a month that God Super PAC is going to send you as a result of what you have done. That's huge. They're doing this because it's an outcome. It's not hoping that money is going to come in. That's how most organizations go and raise funds, is that they're going to advertise and they're going to send out different things. They're going to spend a lot of money going out, hoping to cast a net, hoping to get people to send in money. And there's a certain ratio that they've identified, and then that's how they figure out these organizations. We're doing this different from a perspective of making it so much more efficient, in that we're going to reward people once they have secured that donation. That's what unlocks this money. And again, that's a lot of money on that screen. But the most important one is that you were responsible for getting something started. You shared this with 12 folks. They went out and shared it with 3. That raised $10.6 million as a result of what you got started. Again, we're all just drops in the bucket, but when we all coalesce, you make an ocean. And that's extremely powerful concept to get here. That's where the faith comes in. That's where you look at this and say, wow, imagine that. If that does not give you goosebumps, my goodness, it must be really warm in your house right now taking a look at this. $1 million a month. Imagine that you're in college right now and you're a star quarterback, and now they're paying you to be in college to be a quarterback. But back in the day, you would go into the NFL and make $1 million a year. That was big money. This is making $1 million a month. Imagine what you could do with that. Imagine the lives that you could impact just in your very tight personal circle. Being able to, you could take care of so many different things. The sky is the limit on that. And in addition to what you can do locally in your area with $1 million a month, your expenses are not going to be $1 million a month, right? But on addition to that, you helped raise $10.6 million. Imagine the impact that can make with these organizations that are boots on the ground, established, vetted, completely ran through, completely transparent, so that we've done all that research and identified these organizations that we're going to be able to support. And you were responsible for getting that started, and the compound effect kicks in. It is so powerful to be able to see something like that happen. So that's not the only type of benefits that we have, but it is a key one. And so you've got faith-based community as well. Something very, very powerful about having a group of people that are all focused in the same direction, marching to the same drum. Training and support, natural comprehensive training that we give, financial rewards. I think I've expressed that pretty good here and gave you a couple of examples that show the scalability and the flexible of this model. There's no things that you have to do. This is, you have these discussions while you're going out. You make recommendations all the time, don't you? You may recommend good restaurants. You recommend good service people, somebody did a great job on your roof, or a good plumber. You're making recommendations. Make a recommendation of this to others, and that carries a lot of weight. And I know it did with me, because the folks that showed me this, I respected them. I knew them. I knew they would be involved in something that's going to be completely, massively successful, above board. And then when I dug in and I saw all this, I'm like, my goodness, how cool is that? And that's what people do. That's how humans interact. That's how networks are built. And so this is extremely scalable. It's extremely flexible. You have all the tools that you need to be able to get going. The $9.95 a month is going to get you your own website that you'll have as a warrior. You don't have to do anything to maintain that. You got a whole back office that gives you all the reports, access to Telegram groups for all the communication that we do, social media tools. If you choose to use that and post that out there, you can really gather a lot of conversations or interest, and have conversations with people, and they can become warriors, and then they spread that word, and it goes viral like that, and in such a powerful way. So all of that is there for you, ongoing training and spiritual development resources. So everything that you need from a reward perspective and a benefit perspective is there. So then it just comes down to you making a decision. This is one of those things. It's not a hard decision, right? I'm not asking you if you're going to sign a mortgage, right? I'm not asking you to buy a car. I'm not asking you to decide if you're going to get a puppy, right? This is literally $9.95 a month. And if for whatever reason you choose you need to stop that, go for it. But I promise you, $9.95 in the big scheme of things is not a lot of money when it comes to the impact that can make. Again, you can't go to Starbucks. You cannot make it out of Starbucks for less than $10. And I'm asking you to make that donation once a month to be able to go towards this. You see the checks that we're writing, see the impact of what we're doing for people. It is absolutely amazing. So I encourage you to get started with this. Join God Super PAC and become a spiritual warrior. Get with the person that invited you to take a look at this and say, I'm all in. They're going to send you a link. You simply go in there and you register that you want to be a part of this. Your website will be up in about 10 seconds. And then you can share this video with others. You can put them on the phone with us. We'll do all the explanation. All you got to do is open your mouth and say God Super PAC to them, get their interest, and then let the system go to work for you. You know people that we don't know, and that's the power of what this is all about. So pray, plan, and partner with those fellow warriors in your area. Get those folks to the table. Get this word out, and then let us win for his kingdom, because this, I can assure you, America can only have true greatness through God. And that's what we're here to be able to do, is to unite 210 million Christians to be able to go towards this. So last slide I'm going to share with you is just a reminder slide of what we're here to be able to do. Imagine being able to make an impact in these areas. So with that, I really appreciate your attention, taking a look at this. I do hope you choose to join us as a warrior. If you just want to be a donor, we love our donors and we'll gladly take that donation so that we can go and take care of these missions. Again, get with the person that brought you to this and jump on board with us. Let's lock hands and let's go make a big impact in our world. All right, everybody, thank you for joining. God bless you. Talk to you soon.